Now, I did make my title what I made it. Like, I obviously can't deny that fact. It is definitely something I did. I did decide to make a clickbait title, but not in a cringy way. You know, I did it ironically. It was just ironic. It wasn't meant to be taken seriously. I did it ironically. I'm not actually cringe. Don't think of me as such, please. It was a joke, I swear. But anyway, we got some work to do. First thing is, what was the first thing? Right. I need some rocks. I need some green rocks. And unfortunately, it also looks like I'm going to need some scales. Which means it's World Boss Day. Are they still called World Bosses? I think they are. We're gonna be breaking some dragons, beating up some wind, hoping my computer doesn't explode, which is a likely possibility. But we'll hope it doesn't. For the meantime, seeing as I'm situated very close to it, having it explode would be sort of problematic to my health, I think. Maybe just a little though. You know, I've heard explosions actually aren't as bad as people make them out to be. I think people are just a little over dramatic. Just a little bit. I mean, like, lol. It lasts so little. So, just a little bit of a gas and energy expulsion. How bad could it end? Some fire? How bad could that really be? How bad could it really be? Hello, buddy. Don't mind me. I'm just hitting you. Oopsies. I think mistakes have already been made. Ah, you gotta explode. Alright, I'm already regretting my decision. Where is... You're going back down, buddy. I think dialogue can go up. Oh, ew. Paimon spoke. You know, I heard that there's this little thing in this game called invulnerability frames, and I think it'd be really dope if I could learn to use them. All in all though, this boss isn't like anywhere near as hard as it used to be. Alright, immediately get rocked by his entire combo, I think. That's definitely something I should do.
Fallen leaves, adorn my night.
Let me weave you a verse. Know my sword.
The only thing is, like, it's just a boring fight. It takes so long. And then, it's like, do you have a shield? Cool, he's gonna be quicker to defeat. You don't have a shield? It's gonna take a little bit longer. Because he doesn't even really have, like, a second stage. He's just like, I'm gonna breathe ice at you, or water, or fire. Maybe I'm gonna throw some lightning. In this case it's a water dragon, but big old boring lizard.
Witness the power of Gugwa.
I remember when he came out, like it was super cool. They had like it was new expansion area of the map. This giant dragon, like this giant ancient dragon that's causing earthquakes, and then this is what he is. You're like, ah, okay, duly noted. But I guess maybe it just comes from killing them so many times that they kind of become a little bit. Oh, that's right. You get some of these things if they're the right element. I forgot. Okay, we needed the green chunks. We needed anemo rocks. And there's no way I'm gonna have enough, so I'm going to go for I'm gonna do one of the bosses, I think. Well, I know, that's what I'm going to do. But I don't know if I have enough to upgrade just based off like crafting materials, because he needs what, 2 more, 6, 8. So I need 8 more of the 4-star, and then I'll need an insane amount to 90 him if I want to 90 it. I don't think
Taking a stroll in the middle of
I don't think he needs to be 90. Getting him to 80 is probably more than enough. Hello. And I could do... So the other thing I'm thinking about doing is making some Abyss progress. Because he hasn't gotten to the Spiral Abyss reset yet. And the Spiral Abyss reset is floor 9. He's only at floor 8, chamber 1. So I'm thinking I could finish off floor 8 probably pretty easily. Maybe I'm overestimating that. He doesn't. I don't know if Kaya can carry a team 2 yet, but I don't think it'd be too bad.
Time to go.
Teamwork is dreamwork. Shake your hand, stir. Rain outlines your fate.
Oopsies.
Adventure time. Think you can bully me?
You know, I like how I complained about the Geo-Bishop fight being boring, and then this is probably like 100 times more boring than that fight ever is. At least the dragon is fun to look at, and he doesn't have an insane amount of iframes. Or maybe not iframe, but like I guess iframe is the right term. Like the what are these called? Hypostasis just have like these long animations, these long attack sequences where you can't do anything to him. So they're super squishy comparatively, but it takes you not longer, but it takes you longer than not longer than other fights, but it takes you longer than it should, just because of like animations where they're invulnerable or unhittable. And then I think like even with like the newer hypostasis, I think the new hypostasis are actually more fun to fight, with the exception of the cryo one. The cryo one just because of the sheer cold in it. Sheer cold is never fun to play with. Why am I doing that? Because like the pyro hypostasis, you just bring like Barbara or Mona or Kokomi, and then the fight's super easy, and it's pretty short. And then oops, ooh. Maybe don't run towards the giant rotating thing. Oh, that's what those are for. But then like the hydro hypostasis is pretty unfun to fight, but I feel like it has really cool animations. So like it's kind of the same thing as the anima hypostasis, where like it just kind of runs around and does nothing for a while, but like it looks really cool, so you give it a pass. Oh my god, he took so much damage. And then the ending sequence is kind of lame. Oh. Come on. Oh my god. Alright, well that's annoying. Oh, I got it. Come on, buddy. Oh, I didn't get it. It healed. die for me. Ah! It's gonna make me. It's gonna make me do it again, isn't it? Schloop. Come on, come on. I got them all right. Come on, come on, come on, come on.
Let's light it up. Teamwork is strength. That's gonna hurt in the
Oh, I
morning.
mistimed that.
Let's light it up. Yeah,
Okay, okay.
I'm a rock.
That took me longer than even it should have. I haven't fought this boss in a while. Come on. Okay, got one. Sweet. Ooh. Well, okay. There are pros to this piece, and there's a lot of cons. The main con being it has 3 flat stats, and in case you are unaware, the sort of threshold for if an artifact should be instantly thrown away or not is does it have 3 flat stats. However, it does have 4 substats, and the 4th one is crit rate, but beggars can't really be choosers when you don't have a lot of stuff to work with. Did I not just get one, or did I need 2? Ah, whatever, I'm gonna craft the last one. Once Zhao is 80, then once Zhao's 80, his talents are 8. Maybe I don't know, 6. We'll get them to 6 first, and then see how long that takes me. Because I might not have time to take them to 8. I need one of you. I can only make 1. Alright. I can only make 2, but. Oh, did I make 2 by accident? Nah, I'm not that stupid, right? Surely. Surely I'm not that stupid. Oh, and you get the new passive. Right. Cool.
The limit to one's power is self-destruction.
Okay, he's 70'd. His weapon needs to be ascended. Artifacts need to be leveled. Sweet. This is open, so we can do this as well. This is the water domain, right? It should be fine with the team. Xingqiu will be useless, but who cares? Oh, there is the slowing water effect, which makes the team a little bit weaker. So I think swapping out Xingqiu for Chi-Chi might help a little bit. No, that wouldn't help at all. Her skill is going to be like 30 seconds. What am I thinking? Like, I should have chosen Rosaria. Rosaria would be really good. Because what this domain does is it makes your skill cooldowns a lot longer, so you don't get to use them.
Orders given. Orders received. Go.
See? Yeah, look, my E cooldown's 72 seconds. Jesus. How long was this one? 10 seconds? Okay, it's not... Oopsies. It's not unusable. But it's definitely not fun either. Aw, you're kidding? Who puts bubbles up there anyway? Even Diona's skill cooldown isn't that long. Ah, what is this? My game froze.
Everybody stand back.
Oh, oh, oh!
Wind Strider. Time to get.
You know, there's enemies in the game like this, which are probably the easiest and most boring fights you'll ever have in a game. And then there's enemies like the Abyss enemies that take so long for me to kill, and it's also unfun because it takes so long. They gotta find a better balance of like easy and hard. Or at least more entertaining, because I wouldn't be as annoyed by the Abyss monsters if they were in open world, because like in open world they're more fun to deal with, because you have unlimited time to fight them as you want. But like in the Abyss, obviously you're time limited, right? So you can't just take your time and do whatever you want. You gotta fight them to clear for stars and stuff, which gets kind of boring.
Think you can bully me?
Doop 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 doop.
Look at you, Boomtown.
Oh, that's just rude. Get me out of this thing.
Let's light it up. Opening box of Adepti tricks.
Shh.
Get out of here.
My normal attacks do no damage. There we go.
Time to go.
They don't need to deal damage when my skill does that much. How did I swirl Pyro there? I definitely swirled Pyro. Don't know. What do we need? We need 3, I believe, of the 4-star. Oh, okay. That's pretty good. I'm debating, do I want to... Oh, you know what? Genius idea. There's an event going on right now for double drops on gold and XP books. So I'll do that. If it's up today. It should be, because I think he needs a good backlog of XP books. Ah, actually that's not terrible. But getting, I guess I could do XP and gold. Yeah, so we got the double drop rate. It's only 60k. I can do 2 gold, 1 XP. I guess here, and then whichever one's closer maybe. Only 3 ones to play with, and then I have condensed resin to use. Frog! Nope. Where'd everybody go?
Time to go.
Oh, hello there, friends. Maybe don't shoot me.
Wind Strider.
Get out of here. Everybody stand back.
That's a lot of damage. Okay. 8 XP books. 8 XP books per 20 resin is not bad. Definitely useful to take advantage of. Especially if you don't have like a big stockpile of them. Hello. Thank you for the apple. Oh, a slime! Hello there. You were trapped in the rocks, I see, and I saved you. Glad I could be of service. Now go away. Oh, a chest! Let's go.
A fateful offering.
I just remembered. I need to put the old party member back in here. There we go.
May knowledge guide you.
Yeah. Oh right, my title. I touched grass today. It was kind of crazy, you know? Like it kind of looked like this. I just realized I'm running through a grassy field. Actually, full transparency, I did not touch grass. It was mainly dirt and rock and stone. There's not a lot of grass in my house this time of year. It all died from lack of watering, because watering grass is not fun. Oops.
Think you can bully me?
Come on.
Wind Strider. Fallen leaves, adorn my night.
Can I pull these together? I can. Now that was sick. Okay, we got... How much gold is it then? 120. Okay, that's not bad. Closest one is gold, so we'll do the gold one. Whoop. I know there's like a spot around Windrise where Hydro Slimes spawn, and they spawn infinitely. So you can just like sit on the spot, kill them, and then respawn them, and it's kind of cool. It's like right over there. I've never done it because like it's like 5 minutes for them to respawn, and like who has that much time to just sit around doing that? But it sounds cool.
Rain outlines your fate.
Wind Strider. As one with wind and cloud.
And I managed to swirl Pyro there. Interesting. I learned recently that the reason you can swirl Pyro even if you're hitting like all electro enemies and stuff like that is there's this thing called elemental gauge in the game, which basically means like the strength of an ability, and Bennett's ultimate is like very high up on the elemental gauge, meaning he's his ult will like provide a source of pyro application that is takes like it has a higher sort of Q. It's like I didn't really look too much into it, but the basics is each elemental source that you apply to an enemy has sort of like a, oh god, what's the word? Not thickness, but like each element that you apply has a density. Well, I'll just call it a density, right? So like this anemo that I would apply was then overridden by Pyro, making my point mute. Like you see the Pyro is still on him for quite a while. And then you can see it's fading and then it's gone. And then if I do Hydro, the Hydro should last significantly shorter than the Pyro did. Unless I'm getting the gauge wrong. Oh, there we go. So maybe I'm crazy. And then Anemo apparently doesn't. I don't know. I don't know how it works, but basically the basic. Essentially, Bennett's ult will take precedence over. That's not the right word. Will take higher priority. That's the word. Bennett's ult will have higher priority to be used in elemental reactions because of the amount, like because the gauge is higher, he takes priority over other element. His ult Pyro will take priority over other elements because of how strong the gauge is, which I'm certain there's another, like there's more in depth. It's definitely a little bit more complicated than I'm trying to make it out to be, but it sounds interesting either way. And that's why whenever you, like if you play Kazuha and Bennett and you use Kazuha's ult, if you're hitting something like what are they called? Abyss mages that have a shield on, you can, even if the shield is on and you have a Bennett ult on, you can swirl the Pyro instead, just because of the gauge. Well, that's just because they all died there. Alright. What was that about? Okay, I will be... Need 2 seconds. I gotta go check on something. 2 seconds.
Wherever in this world I roam, I carry memories of my home. This blade, it is the last link I have to the land of my birth.
I hate people. People are annoying. Anyway, let's make you all disappear. There's also another. I don't know. I don't exactly. I don't want to feign. Okay, thanks so much. Thank you so much for that. I don't want to feign knowledge that I don't have. Like, I don't want to act. I don't want to act like I know exactly how Genshin's elemental reactions work, because they're actually they're a bit more complicated than I like. They're not like the most difficult thing to understand, but they're a little bit more complicated than I can grasp at like a basic level. Because you have things like transformative reactions versus what are they called? But essentially, I think transformative reactions will make the if I'm recalling this off like the little bit I read off people discussing it, transformative reactions are any kind of reaction that changes the will remove an element or change the afflicted element. So something like overload would be considered a transformative reaction. So you start with pyro or electro on a target, and then you apply the missing element, and it will remove both elements. Unless the target is like an elemental, meaning that you obviously can't remove. Sorry, that you can't remove the element. So it wouldn't be removed, but basically it creates a reaction that will remove the elements afflicted as much as it can. And then another transformative reaction would be vaporize? I think vaporize is a transformative reaction, right? Because I'm pretty sure it removes. Let me look it up. I don't want to blow smoke out of me. Okay. I don't wanna lie. I don't want to spread misinformation too much. That's probably not. Let me just check. So elemental reactions are triggered by applying certain combinations of elemental element effects on targets. Yep. When an element is applied to a target, it alone will usually last 9 to 12 seconds, depending on the skill used, after which it will decay and disappear. The element will appear as a status symbol above or on the target, and is sometimes referred to as an elemental aura. I've never once heard it referred to as an elemental aura, but okay. Oh my god, I killed all the fish, I'm sorry. And my game froze. Why did I killed all the fish? Anyway, so elemental reactions occur when applying elements to a target, like I just said. Applying a second element to an already existing element, Sometimes the reaction will move the elemental aura from the target. Other times the aura will remain and have the duration reduce. Sometimes the two elements may coexist simultaneously. So I think the easiest way to show is like animo reactions. Any type of swirl reaction should be uh I feel like saying homogeneous is the wrong word, but I really want to say homogeneous. But essentially any type of swirl reaction should have the elements coexist together. That one they didn't last because he died, but animo should last pretty shortly on targets if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna steal these guys' mangoes in a second after hitting this tree. There we go. Sorry guys.
Adventure time.
Yoink. But yep. You can see until the animo disappeared, both animo and pyro was on the target, meaning that they coexist. There's a better word for that I'm trying to think of. I just can't because I'm very stupid. But you apply the pyro, and you swirl the pyro, and then you swirl their brains. Sick. Okay, let's see. So, this is actually interesting. So unfortunately, the one thing that really sucks about the game not having completed elements is there's like what, one,
There are leaves around.
2, 3,
and
4,
I know
5.
just the
There's
change
5
of
reactions we're missing
you
from the
wish to
game
hear it.
in terms of dendro reactions, because the only dendro reaction in the game is burning, and it occurs when you apply pyro and dendro together, which seems really stupid. Well, actually, technically we're also missing another one because Animo and Geo can't. That's different. Anyway, so the really popular team comps will have something called like Vaporize. So things like Hu Tao will be really popular because when you use Pyro as the first element and you extinguish it with
Scenery
Hydro,
is wonderful.
it has
Surely
a
enough
2
to make one's
times
own
damage
particular
bonus. So
wonder.
it's called Vapor. It's called like a vape comp, and then reverse vape would mean you have Hydro first and you use Pyro to proc it. But when you use Pyro to transform the Hydro, it's actually only 1.5 times damage, which is why reverse vape comps are not technically as strong as vape comps, because when Pyro is the initial element, it's much stronger, which is why Xingqiu plus Hu Tao is a very good team comp, because when you Xingqiu burst with Hu Tao E, her E will hit first, applying Pyro, and then Xingqiu's swords will hit secondary, and that will create a vape reaction, which makes it really strong. Because you have a 2 times damage bonus increase. And then the same thing applies to Cryo and Pyro. So when you have Cryo as the first element and Pyro melting it, it'll have a double bonus, like a 2 times damage bonus, because the fire is melting the ice is the way you can think of it. I'm also going the wrong way. The fire melts the ice, makes bigger damage when Pyro is first, and when you use Cryo on Pyro, it's considerably less damage. Well, not considerably less. It's the same thing as the Hydro and Pyro, where it's only 1.5 times as much damage as opposed to 2 times damage. So, like, if you wanted to min-max your gameplay, obviously you would have you would have like you would have a cryo applicator with a pyro damage unit. So like things like Ganyu is actually has like a team comp called reverse melt because the melt reaction isn't as strong. So it's not as strong. In theory, if you use Ganyu to apply cryo and then melted it with like Bennett, the reaction in theory would be stronger. The reason you don't do that is Ganyu is a character that has like a lot stronger scalings on her skills, plus she's usually built with more damage. So you'll get more damage out of the reaction with the stronger built character, even though the reaction is technically not as strong. And then basically anything that involves like Hydro and Electro that make like Electrocharge don't have any damage bonuses, and it's the same thing with Overload, doesn't have any damage bonuses, and then Swirl and Crystallize and Burning don't have any damage bonuses. either. Here it is. Okay, so okay, that makes sense. So the two different types of reactions are transformative and amplifying. And the only reactions that are amplifying are melting and vaporizing, and everything else is transformative. The way transformative reactions are overload, shatter, electrocharge, superconduct, and swirl. No crystallize? Wait, is crystallize not considered? Crystallize apparently isn't considered that. Okay. So transformative reactions damage is a base damage which is determined by the level of the character. So if you have a 90 character, it's going to be doing if you use characters with 0 elemental mastery, then the 90 character will always be doing more than an 80 character. But the base damage is multiplied by a percentage of elemental mastery. So that's why characters like Kazuha and Venti tend to stack EM, because swirl reactions are transformative and are thusly only influenced by character level and EM. So you want to stack as much EM on characters as you want. So that's why Venti will usually run triple EM. Same thing with Sucrose. Sucrose, Venti, and Kazuha generally run triple EM. So you run EM, 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 and you don't even run Animo damage because the Animo damage is not as important as the Elemental Mastery for the most part. You don't have to run those builds, but that's usually like the easiest and cheapest builds. I like how it says easiest, but I say easiest, but actually Elemental Mastery cups are not easy to find. Or Elemental Mastery sands aren't usually easy to find. But usually you farm Viridescent Venerer for a bunch, you get 4-piece, stick it on, and then you stick on the EM, and you're usually pretty good to go. So that's why 374, 216, you usually want their Elemental Mastery to be pretty high. And then on a character like Zhao, you actually don't want your EM to be as high, because he doesn't rely. Well, he's not used for reactions as much. You basically just use him as a damage unit, so you just want like as much damage. That's why you go Animo, or you go like attack Animo crit on him rather than triple EM. That's why you do that. And then another reason, didn't realize this, but apparently transformative. What? I feel like when I speak, I don't breathe properly. Like I don't breathe out of my nose, so I feel like my voice gets weird. But anyway, transformative reactions do not crit. So attack, crit rate, and crit damage have no impact on the actual damage bonuses of the team comp. So any type of like electrocharge attack, so any type of taser comp any type of taser comp or any Animo unit will not want to be built on crit, apparently. Never realized that. So why does, if you can't crit with electrocharge, why do characters like Child build crit? And why does Mona build crit? Because Mona builds energy recharge, hydro damage, crit. Because you want her ult. I guess maybe her ult is different because it's not usually reaction based. Anyway, so because the damage is affected by target's elemental resistance, but not crit. Superconduct has the lowest base damage, and the other reactions are expressed in multiplicative terms of superconduct base damage. So superconduct's base damage is considered 1, then Overload's base damage is about 4 times as much as superconduct's. Swirls is about 2, Electrocharge is about 3, and so wait. 1 to 2. So Swirl's damage is 2 times as strong as Superconduct. Electrocharge damage is 4 times. No, wait, still 2 times. Wait, 1 to 2. They did not format this quite well. The reaction damage will be an additional instance of damage on top of the damage from the skill, making it difficult to discern due to the overlapping damage displayed values. So basically, transformative reactions have the damage of the skill, like, if a, okay, what's a good way to show this off where there's no enemies? Let's say this bush is a target that's on fire. When I use Kazuha's E, the damage of his E is combined with the swirl damage, so you don't normally see the different damage. And then, I see. Okay, so another thing to note is amplifying reactions don't have any base damage. Their damage is completely replaced by the damage of the attacks that triggered them. Meaning, if Hutao's... that's not a good example. If Ganyu's charge attack hits a target that is imbued with cryo, the skill of her attack is not considered, but the damage of the attack plus the damage of the... Okay, there's a better way to explain this. Basically, let's say Ganyu's auto attack will do 20,000 damage to a target. If the target is imbued with pyro damage, it's going to do 1.5 times as much as that. So what, like 30,000, right? No, wait, 20,000 times 1.5. Just make sure I'm not. Yeah, 30,000. Okay, so the damage will be 30,000 damage, not 50,000, because the reaction damage is 30,000, but the skill damage was 20,000. So instead of being 20,000 plus 30,000, the damage of the skill is completely replaced by the damage of the reaction. Very good to know. The reactions will multiply, right, and then damage from the reactions can crit. And they do consider targets elemental resistance. The damage is then multiplied by a percentage of EM. Huh. So, on a target like... So this is why I always wondered why you built Ganyu with sometimes people would build her EM plus crit. So because I have my Ganyu built on attack plus crit.
Time to go.
Attack, can you move, buddy? Attack, obviously attack stands, cryo damage goblet, and crit circlet. Ooh, hello. And that makes her very strong, but the damage of a reaction will increase her damage more if you have EM. So right now, the only EM she has, I believe, is from her... She has 4-piece Wanderers, so the damage, she has like 80 EM, and that's probably it. But the reason I don't have my Ganyu built on full EM is I don't use reactions with her. Right now, I don't have a team built around her. Where are the pigeons? Oh, they're gone. I don't have a team built around Ganyu, so like Ganyu has 2 types of team comps: Freeze and Melt. Freeze would be with Mona or Kokomi, Melt would be with Xiangling and Bennett. And right now I just use her in my exploration team with Keqing. And it's Keqing, Zhongli, Barbara, and Ganyu. So the team doesn't really have any damage outside of Ganyu's base damage. Okay. So, what about order of application? The damage of an elemental reaction scales off the stats of the character who applies the trigger element. Interesting. So, what that means is the damage of a reaction is completely based off the secondary element applied. So if you have a character who deals... Okay, here's another thing I really want to know what would happen. I really want them to add characters with 2 element types and reactions that work with different elements, like 3 different elements rather than 2. But anyway, because I think that would be really cool. Like, right now we have pretty simple element typings, like you have burn, you have explosion, you got melt, freeze, or vaporize, right? Like, that's kind of it. Swirl is obviously kind of... Swirl doesn't, like, swirl element, like, the swirl reaction is basically anima plus anything, so it's not as complicated, and Geo is Geo plus anything will make the same reaction type. So they're not really interesting reactions to talk about. So I really think it'd be cool if you added like let's say cryo plus pyro plus. Actually, that might not be the best thing because there's two types of reactions, right? So the way it works is actually there's a team comp called Sukokumi, and Sukokumi is Sucrose, Kokomi, Shungling, or it's actually called Sukokomon, and it's Sucrose. The reason it's called Sukokomon is it's Sucrose plus 3 characters that summon something. So it's Sucrose, Kokomi, Shungling, and Fischl. And obviously Sucrose summons a jellyfish, Shungling summons a bear, and Fischl summons Oz, the raven. So it's like Sucrose kind of taming 3. It's funny. It's funny. But the way it works is you use the jellyfish, then you use the raven, you use Oz, then you use the bear, and then you whip out Sucrose and you use her skill as Guoba is spewing fire. And as that happens, because Guoba actually applies pyro to himself, you get you get pyro plus hydro, hydro plus electro, electro plus. You swirl all 3 elements, and then all 3 elements should react with each other, so it's super strong. But because it's really hard to replicate, it requires like really tight skill. There's like a really good video on it if you want to watch it, but it requires really tight rotations to make usage, and it requires like really high energy recharge to make sure you can meet those things. And if you want to min max it, the team is really good if you min max fighting, and really lackluster if you don't. And it's also not easy to use because everything has to be timed, so it's not really fun. I built it, but it's not really fun. Anyway, damage of the elemental reaction scales off the stats of the character who applies the trigger element, so you want the stronger character to trigger the element. This might help me in my Abyss runs, actually. Basically, you always want your strongest character stats to apply the reaction. So if you're doing a transformative, if you're melting or vaporizing, you want a crit character to be high crit, high EM character to be applying it. And if you're doing a transformative reaction, you just want your strongest character, so basically whatever character has like the strongest EM plus strongest level to be using it. Very interesting. In the case of Swirl spreading an element to a slime, the resulting damage scales based off the level and elemental mastery of the slime? What? Wait. So in the case of a swirl spreading an element to the elemental slime, e.g. a pyro-infused swirl reaction hitting an electro slime. Hold on. Because now I'm realizing you can, I forgot, you can swirl. You can create like swirls with, how do I explain this? What element is his traveler? It's rock. Okay, let's make it anima. If I don't know if anyone like, it's kind of this thing that everyone knows but you don't think about is the traveler can throw out a tornado and imbue the tornado with a certain element, which is really like, oh, I forgot about this. I should probably, can I make some of these? Oh, it doesn't actually have enough. But basically, swirl is like very simple because its reaction is one type, but also kind of complicated. Anyway, the pyro-infused swirl reaction hitting an electro slime, the resulting damage scales based off the level and EM of the slime, but the swirl damage gets the scaling from the animo. Very interesting. Which basically means pyro-infused swirl hitting electro slime would be overload, which is a transformative reaction. It's like chemistry all over again. Oh. Huh. I'll have to figure out what this means in a bit. Only 4 days left to do this. Anyway, I'm gonna swap accounts right now. So I gotta get out of this. Anyway. So I gotta talk more about this. So I don't know. So that, because the way it works is with the Sukokumon team, you actually can apply multiple swirls and multiple reactions, and I can prove it. I'm not lying. Unless they patched it, like that's true. And I just don't understand. Is that all it talks about? It does. You know what actually might be a better, looking at the Kaching main subreddit might be a better source of information, because they're actually like smarter than the they show exactly what you need to do. Okay, anyway, or not what you need. They if you've never been to the Kaching mains subreddit, they're like they're like the technical community of this game. Okay, so let's read what they talk about. Using elemental reactions edited 1/9/2021. So that means it hasn't changed since then. An element's imbued attack or skill that will apply an element on the enemy. Depending on the enemy's elemental status, the elemental source will act as an aura or a trigger. Where am I? Oh, I'm in Enkonomiya. Actually, I can prove the team comp on this bishop. Where's Suko? Come on. Here it is. So the way it works is you do one of these bad boys. Come here. Come here. I'm a fish. Come here. There we go. Oh, hello. Why are you guys here? So... Oh, I don't want to lose my energy. So you do this, 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 and then right that, and then... I mistimed it. But you can see in that instance there was purple letters, there was blue letters, there was green letters, there's a lot. Because the swirl, I think I mistimed it a little bit, but essentially Guoba will surround himself. He becomes like a pyro slime. Like you can think of him as like a pyro slime because his body becomes imbued with pyro. So the swirl will mix all the elements together, and it's really cool. It is really cool. However, the way the team comp works is you have to summon the jellyfish, summon the bird, summon Guoba. As Guoba has that flame appear over his head, you're supposed to use her E so it mixes properly. And then once you use her 2 skills, you go back to Kokomi, you ult with her to refresh her jellyfish cooldown. You go to Fischl, you ult with her to reset Oz's cooldown. Then you go to Xiangling, you ult with her. Wait, no. Yeah, you ult with her, I think, and then Sucrose will do her thing. And then you go back to Xiangling, throw the bear down, throw the new jellyfish down, throw the ult down. It's something like that, and it's really complicated and unfun to play with. So I built the team, and the team's not fun to use, so I don't use it. But I need to use resin really quick. Let me think about where to go. So you can see this is my current team. This is like my exploration team. The team I would run around doing commissions with. The team comprised of mostly my favorite characters. I would say Hu Tao has probably become... I probably enjoy Hu Tao. Like, I probably like Hu Tao more than Barbara. Although Barbara is still my favorite healer. But anyway, this is like my OG team. And I think Xiangling used to be on this instead of Zhongli. But I put Zhongli on because he's insanely... He was the most broken character, and he's still super strong, and he makes the game easy. What was I saying? Oh, so there's nothing, like there's no way for this team to work in the Abyss, because Keqing is a carry and Ganyu is built as a carry, and they don't work together at all. And there's no enabler unit or like there's no support unit, and there's just a healer, a shielder, and 2 damage units. So it's not a good team, but I still run around with it because it's a vibe. What was I doing? Right, I wanted to work on one of these characters. Was it you? It was you. Aha! I can do ballad books. Unfortunately, this domain is unfun because it's all ice and stamina running out. I do also want to work on my child. Not my child, I don't have a child, my Tartaglia. But I refuse to call him Tartaglia. I'm gonna link this. This is the Kaching Main's, like, giant info doc about Genshin. The gauge unit theory. All characters elemental gauge units. This is what I was talking about. So, types of gauge are 1A, 2B, 4C, which means what? Okay, let's see. The page does not exist anymore. Good to know. Why doesn't it exist anymore? Dear Lord and Jesus, there's so much information that they have. But, let's see. Bennett's ult is considered a... Oh, okay, wait. So... Dear my god. Okay, this page doesn't exist anymore either, and it's from a Chinese website. So, types of elemental sources, types of gauge for elemental sources are 1A, which is 9.5 seconds, 2B, 12 seconds, and 4C, which is 17 seconds. And then Bennett's ult is considered a 2B ult cast, meaning, so the initial hit is 2B, and then the dots and infuse attacks are 1A, meaning it has a very high, I don't know, it doesn't really say, but I'm looking at the sheet and it says there's not a single 4C elemental gauge, which is very interesting. Meaning 2B would be the strongest unless, how old is this one? They don't have ball, but they have, wait, do they have ball? Shungling, Xinyan, Yanfei, Yoimiya, Beidou Official, Kaching, Lisa. They don't have the Raiden Shogun, but they have Yoimiya, so it hasn't... Do they have Ayaka? They do have Ayaka as well. But they haven't updated it since the Shogun came out. I'm thinking... Oh my god, I'm an idiot. I forgot to turn this off. Oh, I'm not the smartest person in the world. So, none of that... Dear Jesus. Oh, and that's not even the right team for... Okay. Well, you didn't see the explanation of anything I did with the Sukokomon team, which is amazing. I do enjoy that, but I have to leave this domain anyway. Oh wait, here's the gauge. What is a gauge unit? A measurement that categorizes the strength and decay rate of an elemental source. An elemental gauge can be split into units. Elemental sources apply elements in varying amount of units to form an elemental gauge. Already don't understand it. Okay, hold on. So a gauge unit categorizes strength and decay. A gauge can be split into units. Elemental sources apply varying amounts or units to form a gauge. Different skills may apply different number of units would decay over time. The gauge emptying. Okay, wait. So different skills may apply more. Got it. So an elemental source will apply a certain amount of units, and then the units decaying would be the gauge emptying. Whenever a reaction is triggered, a certain number of units are deducted from the gauge. So basically, when you apply an element, the element is, you can consider it to be like units of the element. So let's say Bennett's ult will apply 10 pyro units, whereas his E tap will only apply 5. And then a reaction will take more, like when you react with those elements, they will take away a certain amount, and because Bennett's ultimate is stronger, it will take away What was I saying? Because Bennett's ultimate is stronger, there'll be more left over when you make the reaction.
Justice.
So whenever a reaction is triggered, a certain number of units are deducted. For example, a cryo skill might apply 2 units of cryo, then using an electro skill may deduct 1 unit of cryo, leaving you with 1 unit remaining. So that's why even in reactions of superconduct, where it's a transformative reaction, that's okay, so that makes sense why some elements are removed. So like overload, I would assume then vaporize and melt have the exact amount of gauge units to each other, because, well, I guess it's not element specific, it's actually character specific. So that's, also I realize I'm supposed to have Shungling in this team. Because my Diluc doesn't deal damage. Very interesting. There's a lot to this game. It's a lot more than just anime characters. But unfortunately, I think most people don't actually care about the math behind the game. And to be fair, I don't really care too much about it. It's just interesting to look at every now and then.
This is order.
I would like to understand it just so I can explain it. Also, my Diluc does literally no damage.
Gather.
Teamwork is dreamwork.
I like how I went through that entire process of trying to explain the way the game's reactions work, and then I'm just hitting stuff mindlessly, not even thinking about it. Oh, I hate this domain, you have no stamina ever.
I'm going in. Let's light it up.
I know there's like animation cancels you can do with this guy, but I have not learned them either. Okay, different skills when we can assign all elemental sources in the game a gauge unit value and then use this value to calculate 2 key constants depending on whether the source acts as an aura trigger. If aura, the number of reactions it can undergo before it is completely consumed. The duration that the aura will persist if simply left on the enemy. If trigger, the duration of an elemental gauge removed from the existing elemental by trigger reaction. So every element source in the game is classified either as an aura or a trigger, depending on how much they can be removed or taken from. So all element sources apply a 1U, 2U, or 4U elemental aura/gauge onto an enemy. 1U is 9.5 seconds duration of the aura, 2U is 12 second duration, and 4U is 16.8 seconds duration of the aura. So Diluc's E is a 1U pyro, Kaya's E is a 2U cryo, and Beidu's Colt is a 4U electro. Anemo and Geo function differently because players can only use these elements to trigger reactions. Oh my lord. Please note that gauge units are not a direct conversion from elemental or duration. This is why you simply cannot divide the 2U duration by 2 to find a 1U duration. How are gauge units consumed in transformative reactions except swirl and crystallize? Transformative reactions are overload, superconduct, shatter, frozen. Electrocharge is different, so it's not updated. U aura dictates the maximum number of elemental reactions possible. 2U allows for a 2 by 1U trigger, 2 reactions. 4U is 4 by 1U trigger, 4 reactions. It's possible to experience less than the maximum number of reactions due to the natural time decay of the gauge. So a U aura so I can say this again to get it in my head. The unit aura, the unit gauge will determine how many reactions are theoretically possible with a certain skill. But because every elemental application has a natural rate of decay, then you can't necessarily proc every single reaction if you don't apply them quickly enough. So they said Diluxe was a 1U, right? Yeah, a 1U Pyro. So in theory, with Diluxe E, you can apply only one elemental reaction. So if I ult with Bennett, well, actually that's a, or sorry, Xingqiu, but if the Pyro is imbued, my E was, well, my E can only melt once, and you can see the Pyro showed up very briefly on the slime before it was removed. Same thing there, and you can see then the Cryo is then replaced on the either the slime or the mage, because that is a persisting elemental aura based off the unit. This is kind of boring, but I kind of like it. So you can see again, my E will melt once, the cryo is removed, and then because it's an ice shield, it will then be replaced. Very interesting. So I guess this is how you can sort of min-max your Abyss gameplay, by understanding these reactions. Or by understanding the reactions in a little bit more depth, you can understand the gameplay a little bit better. Okay, let's see. So, Diluxe E is 1U Pyro, and then if you hit that on a Midatro, and then you Official Charge Shot, which is 1U Electro, the gauge is empty, so the 1 unit of Pyro is deducted by the 1 unit of Electro, and no aura remains. So it's kind of simple if you think about it. Like, maybe not simple, but let me open Paint. Like the way, like it's kind of, if you think about it like this, like this. So let's make this a little bit bigger. Diluki. Wow, that's not what I wanted to do. So Diluxe E is 1U Pyro. Nope, you can't see that. Let me move that on screen. Diluxe E is 1 unit of Pyro. This is Diluque E. Then Official's Charge Shot is 1 unit of, what's it called? Electro. Or not Official's E, Official's Charge Attack. So, if Diluque is applied first, you have 1 unit gauge of Pyro, subtracted by 1 unit gauge of Electro, which would then equal a net total of 0. Oop, can't write in white, duh. Net unit is 0 because of that. However, oh, right. That's not how that works. Can I do this and then? Of course not. There's gotta be a better way. I guess I just do this, and then shrink it down, and delete it. There we go. But, if you have a skill like Bennett ult, or no, sorry, not Bennett ult, Kaya E, that's the example they use. Kaya E is 2 units of cryo. 2 units cryo, Kaya E. And then you have Official's Charge Attack. Again, is 1 unit of Electro, if you apply 2 units cryo here, then you subtract it by applying Fischl's charge attack like this, it leaves 1 unit of cryo. Very simple because, you know, it's 2 minus 1. Not exactly how it works apparently, but that's how it works. Kai applies the 2 units of cryo, Fischl's charge shot deducts 1 unit of cryo, and there's 1 unit of cryo remaining, right here. 1 unit of cryo remaining, which would mean if you did it on like a Mitterschul, there would still be a instance of cryo upon the unit. Very interesting. Let's close this. Very interesting. There's a lot of math here. Like a lot of math. Too much to work. This is, I don't know, there's way too much math to actually care about. But the thing is, like, with a game like Genshin, where the combat system is actually decently complicated, as you can tell, what will generally happen is the player base will sort of create a community standard explanation. So basically, like, obviously, I can look into the math all I want, but I'm not going to be able to explain it because I don't really understand it. So the way you can explain it super easy is vaporize and melt reactions can crit, and thusly you should build crit on characters looking to create those reactions. Any other type of reaction cannot crit, so you should be looking to build elemental mastery on those characters. Which does make me wonder, I'm probably explaining that wrong, because most characters are built with crit. So like a character, Bennett's not built with crit. Diluc is. So that would basically mean any character that's not Pyro or Cryo or Hydro should be building elemental mastery over crit. But a unit like Xingqiu and Mona build crit. So the question is why? Why does a character like Mona and Xingqiu build crit if their reactions intrinsically cannot crit? Can I just push this guy to the other dude? Oh, I guess you can just do that. So like, is there another character I'm thinking of that usually builds crit that's not one of those elements? Child builds crit. Tartaglia. So why do Hydro units? Those 3 are both Hydro units. Oh, I'm stupid. Those are all Hydro units, and Hydro units can vape. So that wouldn't make sense why they wouldn't build crit. Right, because the only thing I'm realizing now is I built my Mona on crit, but I use her in a freeze team, so that doesn't really make sense. Should you build crit in a freeze team? What do people think? Since freeze doesn't do damage, it would be better to run freeze, right? Elemental mastery makes freeze for because, oh my god, on the Venti subreddit, one of the related subreddits is just Venti hentai. Why are you like these? Why are you like this, people? But my freeze team is Ayaka, Mona, Diona, Sucrose. So my question is, why do I have Mona built with a crit circlet? Because I have her on energy recharge, but why do I have her built on a crit circlet? When she should be, in theory, built on a EM circlet if she's on a freeze team. No? Let me check something. Google Docs right here. Mona Astrological blah 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 guide. Let's see, terminology, character ascension, constellation, blah blah blah, Q-burst. Oh god, what artifact sets to use? Let's see. Burst support. There we go. 4 Emblem of Severed Fate provides fractionally stronger Q-bursts. Yeah. Let's see. See above how EM can be inconsistent in benefiting overall damage due to not benefiting non-vaporized damage. But that's just not true, right? EM is a dead stat for freeze comps, right? So why would you build her crit? Right? Well, this doesn't have. This will be time if you're lacking. It says to build crit. But like, why? Unless I'm okay. So unless I'm thinking of this completely wrong. Hydro as an element can crit in the vaporize reaction, but when you use it to freeze, it does no damage. I guess the way you can think of it is the actual reaction doesn't deal any damage, but obviously Mona's ult will deal damage, and you want the damage because her ultimate. Duh, I'm stupid. Her ultimate can crit, and her ultimate isn't used for reaction, right? Mona's ultimate is the Omen, and when you use it, when you pop it, it will burst, right? Mona traps opponents inside a pocket of destiny and makes them wet, renders weaker moments immobile, but it doesn't matter. And when opponents affected by the bubble sustain damage, it applies an Omen, which damage boosts the attack, and then removes the bubble, dealing hydro damage. During the duration, increases damage taken by bonus. Really? Okay, wait. So, because Mona is kind of complicated when you first take a look at her. The way it works is you use Mona ult. It applies like a bind to them. We'll say it's a bind. You apply a bind to them with Mona's ult. Once her ultimate is damaged, it will pop, leaving an Omen on the target that increases their damage taken from sources, and also the pop will deal damage. So you can a better way to phrase it is Mona's ult applies a bubble. When the bubble pops, it explodes. When the bubble is damaged, it explodes, dealing hydro damage, and it will leave the target vulnerable. Okay, that's not a better way to explain it. Basically, Mona's ult will apply a mark. When you detonate the mark, it will deal damage and then increase the damage taken by the target for a certain amount. And that's why you want to build crit on Mona, because EM does not do anything for her because she's not using any reactions for her skills. Her skills aren't triggering reactions very much. Well, that's not true, because in my specific freeze team, she's not triggering any reactions other than freeze, which is a non-damaging reaction. So I'm building her for the bubble pop, which should mean I want her on full crit, right? Crit rate instead of crit damage, because I want that thing when it pops to deal damage. And obviously Mona also has like damage buffs on her ultimate, so when you use her ultimate, it'll buff reactions by 15%. So you don't just want to use her. But the reason Xingqiu builds And I'm assuming then the reason you also build Xingqiu on crit is Xingqiu will also deal, like his skills also can crit. Because okay, I'm overcomplicating it because reactions obviously only two types of reactions can crit, but skill damage can crit even if reactions based on that element can't crit. So like electro reactions are not critable, but electro skills slash electro damage can crit even if their reaction can't. So like overload won't crit, but so let's say Fischl's charge shot can crit, but if she uses the charge shot to detonate cryo, it won't crit, but her shot can still crit. Now the question I have in my mind after saying that is Mona's, or not Mona, Fischl's charge shot, Fischl's charge shot can crit, but the reaction can't crit, right? And I've actually answered in my mind. So my question was, how does the charge shot critting affect the damage of the reaction? And the simple answer is it doesn't. Because as it was said before in the whatever I was looking at, I don't even remember, the damage of the reaction is not affected by anything other than character level and elemental mastery. So if I have a if I have like a Fischl that's built on crit, her crits will not increase the damage of any reaction. So if I have her paired with Xiangling, it won't increase the reaction that they have together. However, if I have her on elemental mastery, it will increase the damage. Okay, I don't think I need any more. Whew. So taking a look at this, the other thing about this game that always confuses me is there's very little instances in the game of like just straight up damage increases. I wanted to say flat damage increase, but that's not how it works. So if you take a look at Ganyu and you look at her artifacts, and you have the if you take a look at the Wanderer's Trope set, its 4-piece set says increases charge attack damage by 35% if the character is a catalyst or bow user, which means the damage of her charge attack is just increased by 35%. And there's very little instances of like that straight up damage increase in the game, which is why I have her built on Wanderer's Trope rather than Blizzard Strayer. And the other reason is like you do get elemental mastery from it, which is quite nice. Her EM is 80 flat because she's built on crit. She's on attack, cryo, crit. And she does need a better goblet, but this goblet is on set. It's the best one I got. Because Ganyu actually has some pretty bad stats. 42 to 189. So I need more crit rate on her. And I think my Kaching is 52 to 160. And then you can see this again is just a straight up damage increase by 24% if the character is afflicted by Electro. So like when you're trying to increase your character's damage, it's very good to get any source of like straight up damage increase you can. What was I? It was a Rosaria. That's who it was. Okay, this one needs it. They both need it. So I need 11. Okay, I need 11, so I'll just finish off this, but I don't want to use Diluc anymore. I'm going to use Xiangling instead. So it depends. Your build should depend a little bit more on team comp than I initially thought. So like I have my Xiangling built on 4-piece emblem of Severed Fate, and she's on energy recharge, pyro damage bonus, and crit rate. But the only team I actually don't use her on any team right now. But if I was using her on a Ganyu team, her build would be really good. Other than the fact it has no element, like it doesn't have that much elemental mastery. Actually, she doesn't have terrible elemental mastery. Yeah, she doesn't have bad EM. 130 is not great, but compared to Sucrose, it's bad. So anyway, if I was using Xiangling to melt or vaporize, so if I was using her on a Ganyu team or a Tartaglia team, then I would want to keep her on crit. But if I had her on a electro-based team, or that's kind of it, right? Because electro teams, because electro's the only. Did I just ult with her? Oh, I'm on the wrong unit. Psh. Electro is the only element that can't crit, that other than that can actually interact with anything, right? Because you have, wait, am I stupid? Because cryo can crit, ice can crit, fire can crit, water can crit, but electro can't crit, and swirl plus and wind plus rock don't interact with the game, and obviously Dendro doesn't exist. So yeah, so if I was using her in a electro-charged team, which I wouldn't because those teams don't exist, you would want to stack elemental mastery. She's actually a safe character to build only on crit, because you're usually pairing her with Xingqiu and Bennett, which would be a vaporized team. Well, it's the national team, but the national team would generally rely on vaporized damage. Okay. So basically, the only character you really need to the only characters you don't want to build full crit on, other than Anemo units and Geo units, are Electro units. And I'm thinking, I don't know if the Raiden uses a crit circlet, because I think at one point I saw that people were building an attack on her, but then you would want EM, wouldn't you? So now that poses a very interesting question. Yae Miko is designed to be built on crits, no? Oh, you know, like, I guess, I don't know, Miko's kind of a weird character. But since she was released, people have been saying, oh, you want to build like a crit on her. Like energy, you want to build some Emblem of Severed Fate. And I'm realizing now, I keep forgetting, crit is not just, you don't build crit just for reactions, you build crit in addition, like, just for the character's damage. So if a character isn't looking to constantly be proccing reactions, you usually don't care. And that would usually stand for like a main DPS character, right? Because obviously the best way... hold on, my brain's broken right now. Miko wants to build crit because her E skill and her Q skill can crit and deal good damage, but if you use her skills on, like, if her skills proc reactions, the reaction won't crit. It'll just deal a neutral amount of damage that's not influenced by her crit, but is influenced by her elemental mastery. But you don't want to build purely elemental mastery on her. And I think this is more of like a character specific thing, because her kit's a little weird, it's a little funky. And people were like, oh, do you want to build EM on her a lot? Or do you want to build full crit on her? Because she has like elemental mastery in her kit, but she also has crit. And she's used as like an off-field sub DPS character, very similar to Xiangling. But she doesn't deal... I don't know. I actually haven't used her since I got her, so I can't comment very well on how she's used.
Stabilize.
But seeing all this, it makes me want to build up my Ganyu again, or build a better Ayaka team. Because right now, I think Ayaka's biggest team is Freeze. But like thinking about it, the only reason my Ayaka team does pretty well is her ultimate, right? Her ultimate is really strong. That's not the only reason. Like the big thing with the Ayaka team that I have built is it's designed off one rotation where you apply cryo to the enemy with Diona and you use her ult to increase EM for some reason, which doesn't matter because EM isn't affecting any damage. But anyway, you use cryo, you then freeze with Mona, usually Mona's ult, and then after you freeze, the cryo is still applied, and then you use Sucrose to swirl it, which gives you EM bonus plus elemental, decreases elemental resistance, and then Sucrose's will increase EM because of her passive, and then you use Ayaka's ult to proc Mona's ult. Wait. No. You're supposed to, are you supposed to? Hold on. It's been a while since, so I gotta remember really quick here. So you apply cryo with Diona. Right, okay, so you apply cryo with Diona, then you debuff it with Sucrose, then you freeze it with Mona, and then you break the Omen with Ayaka's ult. Right. I can demonstrate it really quick. Let me just put my teams back in order.
We can do this.
Where is my team? Where is Ayaka? There we go. So, the way this team works, let me go find some enemies. Wait, there's some enemies over here, isn't there? Yes. So, this team won't last long. Actually, I can do it on a boss. Let me find a boss. Here's a good boss. So basically, Diona exists in the team because she's cryo, so you get cryo resonance on Ayaka, plus you get a shield, which is really good, and a heal, which is really good. So that's why Diona is used in this team. And the only thing that sucks about this team that I'm now realizing looking at it is there's basically no reaction-based damage. But the team still does good damage because of Ayaka's ult. Ayaka's ult will shred through things. But now I'm wondering, would it be a good idea to build Ayaka on a... No. I was thinking trying to build Ayaka on a freeze, like a melt team. But I think Ayaka doesn't consistently apply cryo that you can then debuff. Anyway, so let me break this. So, what we do is we use Diona, get that cryo, you swirl it, then you ult with Mona to get the buff, and then you ult with Ayaka. Ayaka then pops the bubble and gets the damage bonus. And hopefully one-shots the target. That is how you use this team, and it's actually really simple. Because like you can see that it's really simple. You can also use Diona ult, but I don't like doing that because if you don't ult directly off Ayaka after you use Mona, Diona ult can actually proc the damage off Mona's ult, which I don't like. Because I think it actually influences the damage. Yeah, so it's bad to do that because the damage buff of Mona's ult is only applied to the attack that removed it. Meaning Ayaka's ult, because it's a DOT effect, actually gains the bonus damage for the entire duration. So you want to proc Mona's ult with Ayaka's ult to get the buff increase on her ultimate. because it'll then apply the entirety of the time, which is really strong. This is like a really good team. The only thing that sucks about this team is like there's no damage reaction.
Take flight.
Like you're not getting any damage from any sort of elemental reaction. You're basically using the damage buffs from artifacts and Mona, or from the Viridescent Venerer artifact set plus Mona.
Stand clear.
You rely off Ayaka's base damage, or you rely off Ayaka's high ult damage, and the buff increases. So obviously Ayaka's on 4-piece Blizzard, Mona's on 4-place Emblem of Severed Fate, Diana's on Noblesse Oblige, which doesn't actually... Oh no, it does apply because it increases attack, right? And then Sucrose is on 4-piece Viridescent. So the way the team works on like a logistical sense is Diana applies Cryo with her E usually. You can ult, but again I don't like using the ult, so the Noblesse Oblige won't proc off that, but it does proc off Mona. So you use her E, apply Cryo, then you use Sucrose's thing. What's it called? Hold on, I'm just thinking. Right, okay, so you use Diana, like, and the ideal thing is you use Diana's burst to get the Noblesse effect. Then you use her shield to apply Cryo. You Sucrose burst if you need to suck in enemies. Otherwise, you just use her skill to proc the Viridescent Venerer. So that will decrease the opponent's element resistance to Cryo, meaning Cryo damage will now do 40% more damage. So Ayaka's ult is now doing 40% more damage. Then you use Mona's ult. You do Mona's ult to get the buff, right? You do the... How much damage is the buff? It's 56% damage. Omen duration is only 5 seconds. Okay, now I'm... 5 seconds. How long does Ayaka's ult last? 5 seconds. Okay, right. So after you have the 40% increased damage from Sucrose via... Well, it's not 40% damage increase. It's 40% reduction in defense, which is good. And then you get the damage buff from Mona, which is what was it again? 56. You get 50% damage bonus buff from Mona, and then if you have what's it called? If you have Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayer, you also give an attack buff. If not, you have one of these. And then you use Ayaka's ult, and in theory, Ayaka's ult should be buffed for as long as it exists. And then you have the cryo resistance, which is... How long is it? 10 seconds. So, in the time you use Sucrose's skill, you want to make sure that you use the burst 5 seconds after it lands, just to make sure that the buff duration lasts as... Oh, what died here? Let me see if I can find some enemies. Something strong. Something strong that's also not a cryo unit. Geohypostasis would not work. Let's fight a Magu Kenki. There you are. So the one thing I don't like is I'm pretty sure using Diana's ult can randomly hit the buff, because I like to wait a second before you use Mona's ult, because I think at one point someone said to do that. Hey! Drop it. No dirty napkin for you. Okay. Oh, the other thing I just realized, you have to use... Doesn't she get... Yeah, when you use her dash, you actually get damage bonus increase. So you actually want to dash. You want to dash before you burst. But does that burst proc Mona ult? We're about to find out. Because the ending of the dash deals cryo, but I don't know if it considers it damage to proc Mona ult. So I'm gonna check. I'm not gonna use a full rotation, I'm just gonna try it out. Oops. So you would Mona ult, and then does this shit. Okay, there we go. The answer is no. Oops. The answer is no, it will not proc it. And the only reason that my Ayaka's E didn't proc it is it actually takes a second. It actually takes a second for the Mona's ult to be able to be broken, which is why you want to wait a little bit. The hell is that? So I'm gonna try a full rotation. I want to get their skills back. Come on.
Shadows of fate. Leave my space.
Ow. Come on, give me my skills back.
Whirling snow.
Oh, there we go. Okay, let's get out of here. So it's what's this? Okay, so if I'm thinking correctly, there it is. Like I'm counting on Diona ult not proccing Mona's ult, because the way it would be is you use Diona E, then her ult, then Sucrose Swirl. No Sucrose ult because Magu Kenki can't be crowd controlled. And then you would Mona ult. You don't need to use Mona's E because I don't have her on Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayers or Tenacity of the Millilith, so I don't need to use that. And then it would be Ayaka dash into Ayaka ult. But would Diona proc Mona's bubble before I can get Ayaka's dash? And Jesus. So it's this, this, this. Oh, I did it wrong. This and then that. And then you get the buff, except I think I did it wrong. But 11k, her ult's hitting for like 11k, right? So I want to see if I get her ult back and I use it without buffing it. If I use it without buffing it, will it do... Well, if I use it without buffing it from Mona's ult, how much damage does it do? Why did I do that? Douche. Okay, so I got my ult back. If I dash to get the damage boost, my music cut out, and then ult. Ah, see, it's only doing max of 9k. And then final burst 13. So, the cryo resistance the cryo-resistant shred from Sucrose plus the Mona ult is definitely increased. But I want to see which one does more. Like, will... Oops, didn't dodge that. So if I apply cryo,
Absorption test.
well, swirl it,
Test 6308.
and then
My apologies.
do this,
Kamisato art. Sometsu.
it's doing 11k, which is the same amount of damage that my ult was doing with Mona's ult, which means I'm doing something wrong. Right? Because Mona's ult plus Sucrose's ult should be making my ult hit for more than 11k. Because if Mona's bubble procs it, it should be... Wait a minute. Didn't I do all my commissions? No, I guess I didn't do any. Okay, where is the PMA? My ultimate is doing about 11k with just the swirl. But it should be doing more, because if I swirl it, then Mona ult, I should be doing considerable amounts of damage. Because of the initial pop. Making sure that the ult crits, obviously. Because when it doesn't crit, it doesn't do a lot of damage. When it doesn't crit unbuffed, it does 2k. When it doesn't crit buffed, it does like 4k. So let's try this. I don't have my ult up.
Take flight.
It's an early dodge. Oh,
Unthinkable.
okay. Good dodge, Josh.
Think you can bully me?
There we go. Okay, so let's try this
Look at you.
cryo. Swirl.
Written in
No,
the
it's gonna
stars.
run away. I didn't get the ult, so I gotta try this again. Alright, create energy.
Take flight. Stand
I need energy. Give me energy. Good. Okay.
My vision. Much remains
Oh.
unfinished.
Okay, let's try that again. Let's not be an idiot really quickly. Because I really want to test this out. I would try it in the Abyss, but I don't want to take like any kind of buff that would... Oh wait, I lose my ult now. Oh my lord. I wish they had a better way to practice. Because you can fight the dude, right? Over here, I think? Or is it right here? Right here. You can fight this dude. But it's not like a good way, you can't like instantly recharge your ult or anything. And I know there's like a dog you can use from one of the old events. There's like the samurai dog that I think you can train with as well, but that's not something I quite understand. Because this is one of my, oh it's up here. This is one of my Abyss teams, so if I'm doing something wrong, I really want to know. Come on. What do you mean I can't fight you? You're here. Oh, okay, I had to do it again. Yeah, because it's also like a... You only get 2 minutes to fight him.
Unthinkable.
Alright, learned how to dodge.
Whirling snow. Shaking and stirring. Take flight.
Okay, now we need this ult back.
Think you can bully me?
Good. Okay. Can we abandon this challenge? No, we can't. So let's wait for her thing to be back up, and then we can try it. Okay, so you,
Animal test 63.
swirl,
Decided by destiny.
ult, dash, ult.
Embrace the ice.
16k, there we go. which is definitely more than it was hitting for. Okay, that means we're good.
Stand clear.
That means I'm doing it right, because what was it? When I was doing it the last time, I was doing it, I think, wrong, because I was getting, what was it, like 11k or 15k, but higher damage means good.
Diana special. Shake and take flight.
The other really nice thing about this team is because you have Diona, she acts as a battery for Ayaka, so you get a little bit more energy recharge. So their ults are usually back up pretty good amounts of time. The other thing you gotta remember is I actually gotta hit my dash on him to get the damage increase. What do you mean challenge failed? What? Oh, I'm gonna kill him now. Yeah, let's fight. Nerd. He's also very tall. So, you. Did I miss? No, I didn't miss. Dash, ult. There we go, 16k, plus a 40k crit from Mona. Okay, so you can't, I was right, you can't kill him. Oops, but look, watch this. So if I do this, and then hit him, about 4k on my initial hit, and then if I do that, wait, I lied. If I do this, oh come on. This, okay wait, it's still 4k, am I thinking? It's still 4k on the initial hit. But it should be more if I hit him, right? My sprint. Coldness concern. Should use on refrigerator to apply cryo. Coldness. Oh wait, no, it's this talent. When the cryo application at the end of my dash hits an opponent, I get a cryo damage bonus. So I should do more. Actually, let me do this. So if this doesn't hit him, it does 4k. But if it hits him, it still does 4k. That doesn't seem right. Oh, I also have 14 health. So that does 20k after the dash hits. But if I do it unprompted with just doing the dash, well, it didn't crit that time, but look. Is it bugged? No, that time it did 4k, so I just must not have been hitting him with the dash. Well, that didn't crit, so that didn't crit. That didn't crit. That only did 4k again. Wait a minute. That definitely hit him, and it did 4k. So why does... Maybe I was doing it too close together because the application lasts a decent amount of time. Does... How long does it last? It does. It lasts 10 seconds. So let me try that again. Right, actually, let me just make sure. Talents. When the cryo application hits from my dash hits an enemy, I gain stamina and cryo damage for 10 seconds. So let's not hit the enemy with the first one and make sure it works. Okay, so first off, 160. Wait a minute. Okay, this did not hit him, and it deals. When it crits, oh, he dodged. He dashed. When it crits, it does 3,500. Okay. Then once I hit him, and I crit, it hits 3,900. Okay, so I was hitting him the first time, so 3,900 is the crit damage. And then if I hit him, E, and then crit him, it does 4,600 because I get a damage bonus from my E. Ayaka is actually a really cool character. I'm glad I pulled for her. Oh god. I know I hated her because she made me miss Ball, but like she was definitely a character worth pulling for. She's really, really cool.
My apologies.
Okay, done messing around with this dude. Let's do our commissions. What's this one? Boring. This one is kind of boring as well. What the heck? What was that? Oh, the challenge, right. This team is fun. I really do enjoy this specific freeze team. The only problem I have with it is it's really situational because you can't use it against a team that has a lot of cryo. Like any kind of cryo elemental that can't be damaged by cryo will make this team unusable. Because it's purely Ayaka dealing damage. Like Ayaka is a pure cryo unit. There's very little she can do that's not cryo. Cause like you can, yeah, you can normal attack with her, but like her dash literally makes her auto attacks, like her normal attacks, cryo. So it becomes kind of impossible to deal any, unless you're not dashing, you can't deal physical damage. And also you wouldn't want to deal physical damage. The only way I could see her dealing not cryo damage is if you have a C6 Bennett. But then you wouldn't be using Bennett. And then like the other parts of the team exist in the team purely to buff her damage, right? Oh, this one. Obviously Mona can deal a really good burst of hydro damage, but not consistent hydro damage. Where's the other one? I think it's right in this. And then, yeah, it's right there. Mona can deal a really big burst of... You didn't see me, you didn't see me, you didn't see me. Nice. She can deal a really big burst of hydro damage. Obviously, she can deal like up to... She can deal millions of damage with her burst, but that requires setup in its own right, and so if you're not setting it up, it doesn't deal a lot of damage, and it's only like a one-time use. Diona exists purely to buff, heal, and shield. She does no damage. Did I just break my chair again? No. And then Sucrose also does no damage. So the only damage in this team is cryo. And then that's why this team works as like a non...
Take flight.
You don't need units to deal you don't need like you don't have to, this team doesn't have to worry about reactions since it's a quote-unquote freeze team, but realistically it's just a Ayaka team because you don't really care about freeze. You're mainly using it because freeze is a good way to keep enemies in place for Ayaka, and that's kind of the idea behind freeze teams. Is freeze itself doesn't deal damage. It's more to make life easier for the damage dealers. Because the two freeze teams are Ayaka and Ganyu. Obviously the other freeze teams aren't great. And then the only other freeze team I can think of would be like Chongyun Shatter. Oh wait, I forgot about Shenhe. I think she's just a support though. Because like the two big crowd DPS characters are Ayaka and Ganyu. Ganyu wants a freeze so it's easier to hit her damage on enemies, so they're not constantly hitting her, and then Ayaka wants a freeze so that she can hit multiple people with her ult easier. So freeze itself does no damage, right? Freeze doesn't deal any damage. Freeze itself does no damage, but shattering the freeze will deal damage. And interestingly enough, freeze will last as long as the lowest duration of two elements.
blade is like a tea leaf. Only those who sample it many times can appreciate its true
Huh.
qualities.
Okay, something I never learned is the frozen element is this. It has the same icon as cryo, except it'll have an animation around it. Interesting.
A blade embraces its duty. As a
And
jewel.
using Diona's ult applies frozen. You can see the little. It didn't last very long, but it applied the frozen status to Diona, which the funny thing is you can't freeze a frozen unit. But if it's like if you apply cryo with Diona, you can't be frozen. Interesting. Oh, we get free mushrooms? Let's go. We'll take that any day of the week. Thanks for the mushrooms, nerd. Wait. Ah, they're fresh mushrooms too. Okay, I think that's it. Wait, no, I missed one back here. No, I missed one. No, it's gone. Okay. Is that all my commissions? Yeah. So I need to build, I'm getting a little bit bored of my two Abyss teams. Because my two Abyss teams right now are Ayaka Freeze and Hu Tao Vape. Hu Tao Vape. And the two teams are as follows: Hu Tao, Zhongli, Xingqiu, and Bennett for Hu Tao Vape. And then Ayaka, Mona, Diona, Sucrose for Ayaka Freeze. Now the thing about my Hu Tao team is it's quite inefficient. You need to keep Hu Tao and Xingqiu together, that's just a given.
Add Astra.
But
Thank you for
I pair Bennett with Hu Tao because I'm really bad with her HP management. So the normal Hu Tao team is actually Hu Tao, Xingqiu, Zhongli, and Xingqiu. Sorry, wait. Hu Tao. Sorry, it's Hu Tao, Zhongli. It's Hu Tao, Xingqiu, Zhongli, Albedo. The reason is Zhongli is the best shielder in the game, and Albedo. Well, okay, it's for two reasons. It's for a couple reasons. Albedo, when he ults, increases your active character's EM by an insane amount, which is really good for Ayaka because obviously EM is really good for the vape that Xingqiu does, or her vape reaction with Xingqiu. And then Zhongli is included because he's the best shielder in the game, and Sucrose or Hu Tao gets a little bit low when she's playing the game, so it's really good to keep her healthy. Plus, Geo Resonance is the best resonance in the game. What is this? Oh, Friendship 10, let's go. Cool. Geo Resonance is the best in the game because it gives shielding increase and damage, I believe 15% increase. Let's see. You increase shield strength by 50%, and any character protected by shield will deal 15% more damage and also decrease Geo Resonance. So it's insanely strong. So you do that to have those two, and then obviously Xingqiu plus Hu Tao is just you can't really separate those two characters. So you have the very strong Geo Resonance plus some of the best. It's such a strong team, but I don't have Albedo, and you can't really replace Albedo. You have Now there's Goro and Yunjin, which weren't there initially, but they don't do what Albedo does. What does this do again? Other than it just makes her, it just deals damage, right? That's it. Geo damage, right? Her ultimate, when normal attack damage is dealt, bonus damage is increased on Yunjin's current defense. Unfortunately, Shing, okay. The only thing that sucks, like you can't, Hu Tao mainly uses charge attack, so that kind of sucks. That doesn't work. Okay, let's see. This dude provides up to 3 buffs within the skills AoE based on the number of Geo characters, which would do just increased resistance to interruption, which isn't terrible but not great. And then displaying his value to the general deals AoE damage, creates a field. Field, like the general, provides buffs based on 2, so you get 2. Wait, based on the number of 2, so generates 1 crystal collapse every 1.5 seconds. Deals AoE deal damage, pulls 1 elemental shard on the skills. Yeah, this sucks. This would not benefit the team at all. So unfortunately, the only other Geo characters I have are Noelle and Ningguang, and those would not help the team at all. So I have to think of a different team comp. But I have 2 other really good options. I have Ganyu. And I retired Ganyu from my Abyss team because she just didn't deal enough damage. Which is really weird to say of Ganyu, but like to explain is Ganyu has very good and high consistent damage with her charge attacks. She does, my Ganyu with, I think without buffs will do 19k on her level 2 charge attack. And then like 10k on her normal one, so about 30k damage per charge attack, granted you hit the one target. However, oh, I switched when I needed an Animo character. However, it comes at a cost because Ganyu attacks, charge attack takes a while, right? So you gotta go, that is for a 30k damage, and that's good damage. The only thing is she can be frozen, she can be interrupted, and the charge will then have to reset, and that's really bad. So without Amospo, my Ganyu just doesn't do enough damage for the current Abyss. And I've even tried using her in a melt team to make her deal more damage, and she just does not do enough damage for my team. Hayaka and Hu Tao deal enough damage to 3-star the up to floor 11, but I cannot 3-star or even come close to 3-starring this current Abyss. Like, it's not even close. I'm even going to do the Abyss right now, just to show you how little damage my teams do. And it's not that they do little damage, it's that my teams are, I'm not very good at the game. Because I use a really weird build with my Hu Tao, Bennett sort of counteracts her gameplay. Bennett does not work well with Xiangling, and because he heals her, or sorry, with Hu Tao, because he heals her, which detracts from the purpose of the team. And then my other team is the really big damage in my second team is based off one burst combo, and when it's down, you don't deal a lot of damage. So my Hu Tao team is inefficient because of Bennett, and my second team is burst reliant. Let's see.
This is order. Gather.
Witness the power of Gugwa. Huh?
Not to mention, if I fail my charge attacks like this. Oh. See, already I can tell this
Solidify.
one's not gonna go well.
Let me weave you a verse. Rain outlines your fate. Huh?
Because it's, you need 7 minutes remaining. Because you have to clear this floor in 7 minutes on both sides. And I only have 2 minutes to clear both these floors.
Stabilize.
It's not gonna
Order
happen.
guide you. Solidify.
Rain cut.
I haven't been able
Rain
to
outlines your
like
fate.
36 star the abyss ever, basically. And I know it's probably easier than I am making it out to be. I'm just doing something wrong.
Everybody stand back. Huh?
You can see, like,
Solidify.
I'm trying. Okay, there we go.
I will have order.
Witness the power of Gugwa. Know my soul.
Oh my god, I missed.
Higher, higher, pants on fire. See?
I'm doing something wrong.
Dream work. Huh?
My Huta is not dealing any damage right now. I'm also constantly out of stamina. There we go. You can see, like, I can't even clear one side of the floor
Everybody
in
stand back.
7 minutes, so there's no world I'm gonna be able to do it.
Rain
3-star this
outlines
floor.
your fate. See? Cross over.
Order guide you.
Like, I can finish
Solidify.
the abyss, which I'm gonna do now that I'm here, but it just takes me so long, and I have like the best DPS character in the game. Hu Tao is like the best DPS character in the game. Okay. Oops. I should have ulted. Why didn't I ult?
Somatsu, my apologies. Yeah, ha, yeah, yeah, yeah. Think you can bully me? Lucky. Absorption test. Shadows of fate. Take flight. Yeah. Yeah.
This guy just doesn't die. Oh my god. There we go. I think the big problem with this floor is the rune graders come out one at a time, so it makes it nearly impossible for me to get a good time with Ayaka, simply because I can't hit both with one ult, meaning I have to prep a second ult, or I have to hit them with I have to use at least 2 ults in this team in order to kill one boss. Assuming my team could, like, if I assume one ult rotation would kill the boss, it would take me 2 ult rotations to kill the floor, which is too long. Like, my ult does good damage with this team, but not being able to proc it on both would suck. I forgot I could 2-star the floor though. The PMA is going to be rough though. The double Bishop plus PMA is going to hurt. Also, the other thing that kind of sucks about my team is Bennett is built to be a healer, not a damage unit. so he doesn't deal damage. Did that just not hit that slime, or did he have a shield I wasn't paying attention to? What? Why are my auto attacks not happening?
I will have order. Gather.
Let me weave you a verse.
I hate all of you. I know I don't have Kazuha or the Raiden, which are like Raiden, Ball, whatever you want to call her. I know those are like really good units, but I should be able to clear this without them.
Stabilize. This is order.
Like, you can clear the Abyss with kind of whatever you want. Or maybe that's not true anymore, but provided your teams are built well enough, you should be able to clear the Abyss with any characters you want. So when I have like some of the top tier DPS characters and I'm unable to clear to 36 star the Abyss, it's kind of sad. Cause like, yeah, I can clear it, but like, I can clear it pretty easily because my teams are really safe, but like I can't clear it in time. Part of it is also like rotations being bad, because this is Ayaka's team is very dependent on you having good rotations. So if you don't have good rotations on my Ayaka team, then you will suffer, because her ult placement is really important. So let's do this. Oh, I forgot to dash. Ah. But you can see that was like a full rotation. And it was, oops, it was nearly perfect. And it did like half his, or didn't even do half his health. Oh, I thought I was still shielded. Okay, let's ults. Try to dodge that. Dash and ults. There we go. That is a full buffed ult right there. I'm not even gonna be able to 2-star this floor.
By destiny. Embrace the ice. Take flight.
Oh my god, I'm not even gonna 2-star this floor. Okay, there we go, I 2-starred it. But like, it was a hard, like it was a barely of 2-star. And there's no way I'm 2-starring these ones, because isn't it like 5 minutes? No, it's still 7 minutes. Okay, I think they made it easier. Oh, I hate you guys so much.
Everybody stand back.
Order guide you.
Witness the power of Gua. Rain outlines your fate.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I thought these were the twin bishops from Enkanomiya, and I'm starting to think that they're not the twin bishops from Enkanomiya, meaning they won't revive each other.
Let me weave you a verse. Time to act.
My jump attacks, my charge attack cancels are not the best. Okay, that was actually so much easier than I thought it would be. That gives me a lot of time to do the PMA, which is nice. I actually have 2 minutes to deal with this. Okay, if I get hit by that though, I'm not in good shape. I gotta let Diana heal a bit. Okay, swirl,
Fate is upon you.
ults, dash, and please don't please don't rocket. Okay, thank you. Whoa.
Animal test 6308. Look at you, booze.
There you are.
Think you can bully me?
Oh, you're kidding.
Shadows of fate. Whirling snow. Animal hypostasis.
Ah. I messed up my skill rotation, I got nothing up.
Shaken hands. Absorption test.
I'm not gonna be able to do this. I'm not gonna be able to 3-star this.
Brace the ice.
Okay.
Can't handle your drink. Whirling snow.
Actually, if I did that a little bit better, I probably could have done that. I probably could have 3-starred this. But it's a little bit late now.
Animal test 63. Decided by destiny. Sakura swirl.
Yeah, because my ult is shredding. But with 10 seconds left, there's no way I do it here.
Shaken and stirred. Stand clear.
I might need more energy recharge on my Ayaka and Mona. Which is maybe not my Mona, because my Mona has like 200%. Like 256, I think. But I definitely might need more on my Ayaka.
Absorption test. Written in the stars.
Because my Ayaka doesn't have much. Oh, Jesus. My Ayaka does have the, it has like, what is it called? Anemona Kageyuri, which increases her energy, or gives her energy particles a little bit. Oh my god, it took me so long to kill this, I'm actually going to get a second phase here. That's really bad.
Stand clear. Whirling snow.
Okay, we're just going to,
Swirl. Mark 2. Decided by destiny. Sakura swirl. Take flight.
yeah, not being able to ult off cooldown with this team is a bit detrimental.
Whirling snow.
Because I really need
Animal test 63.
Mona ults
Let me scry.
and Ayaka ult up a bit more. Okay, let's try this.
You. Absorption test. Written in the stars. Embrace the ice.
What? It iframed me. Wait, is 300 seconds not 6 minutes? Am I crazy? 300 divided by 6. Oh, it's 5 minutes.
Shadows
Well, I'm not going to be able to 2-star this anyway, but
Absorption test. Delve into destiny. Fate is upon you. Take flight. Sakura swirl.
oof. Uh, I was meant to be swapping to Diona so I could dodge
Animal test 6308.
a lot easier. Actually, I remember I really hated this team because of the double dash, but then they fixed Ayaka and Mona sprint, so it became easier. But again, 1-starred the floor, which is really bad. It's the PMA, because the PMA bottlenecked me on the last Abyss before I stopped playing, which was during Ayato's banner, and it was like a PMA in one of the first floors, and it really bottlenecked me because I was not able to clear. Like that one unit is just messing with me. And I feel like Ayaka should be really good into it, but I might need to take a look at some videos to figure out how better to fight it. Ooh, right, the ley line overflow. And then I have to do the new quest as well. Oh yeah, the slime event. Anyway, I've been playing for like 2.5 hours now. So that's gonna do it for me once I collect my commission stuff. One last thing I might want to show off, or one last thing I want to say is I made a video about a week ago. It was another League video. I've been taking old streams and editing them. Wait, did I already claim my commissions? Or did I not do them all? I remember doing some of them. Did I already collect them? I guess I did. Huh. And I remember doing the expeditions now. Anyway, I made a video, and it's actually done pretty well. I made it about a week ago. It's called "This Is Why You Never Stop a Fiora's Recall," and it's at 620 views the last time I checked. Let me check again. It is now at 621 views. Well, okay. It has 6 likes, 2 dislikes, and the thing that I really like is the engagement in the video is up to like 2 minutes. Well, minute and a half to 2 minutes. Usually my videos get around 30 seconds of view time, so pretty good to see it do well. The only thing I'm worried about is I checked the analytics of the video, and it got like a lot of reach. So it got a lot of reach because it was recommended on a lot of videos, like a lot of random videos. Sorry, I was looking at something. It was getting recommended to people from a lot of videos that weren't mine. So it would like a lot of videos from like bigger channels, which in turn, if my videos, it essentially got picked up by the algorithm, which is really sick. And unfortunately, I did just realize most of the views from the video are from browsing features. So, well, that's actually not bad. So basically, browsing features like the home page / home screen, then subscription feed, and then searching, or like videos that come up when you're watching a video on like the right hand side. And then my impressions, so YouTube recommending my content, got about 9,000, almost 9,000 impressions. So basically YouTube, the algorithm saw the video and did pretty well. So 600 views is not like large in the grand scheme of YouTube, but for my channel, it's very good. So that's really cool. The only thing I'm worried about is the video got picked up into the algorithm, right? It got shown to a lot more people than usual, which means it made its way into the algorithm. It even got recommended on an OTV video, which is kind of weird. But the problem with that is I made this video how long ago? 5 days ago exactly. I made it on I uploaded it on July 1st, and it's now July 6th. And the one thing I'm worried about is when you make a video or well, like when you make content in YouTube, based on my personal experience, is like for smaller content creators, you really need to be making consistent videos to keep an engagement in the audience. So I've been watching this one smaller YouTuber called Azure Sky for a couple months now, and like one of their video came up, I watched it, I enjoyed it, and then I would wait for new videos to come out to watch them, and I would watch it from that, and then now they've grown quite a bit, and they've sort of hit that point where they've reached through the algorithm to people, and they've grown and grown pretty well. Went from having like 1,000 views on videos to having like what, 6,000? Let me check. So they went from 1,000 videos or 1,000 subscribers to 5,000, and they went from having like 1 to sub 1,000 viewers to up to 4 to 11,000 views. They've come up with a new like a more videos that don't match what made them more famous. I don't know if famous is the right word, but like the videos that kind of picked up attention do well, and the videos that don't do well. So they were really known for rage compilations, and they came out with some like videos of them playing the game, and I watched them. They weren't that good, and they're only sitting around like about 2K views instead of the usual 7 to 10K on the rage compilations. But anyway, my worry is that I haven't made videos enough. Like the video I think the video came out about as good as the previous videos, which only have anywhere from 30 to 40 views. But I'm worried because it says I have 11 returning viewers, which is usually my friends. I'm worried if I don't make another video basically tomorrow, that sort of hit with the algorithm I had will go away. And I was going to make a new video yesterday, but I don't have any good footage, unfortunately. And like working with subpar footage is not easy. But anyway, speaking of footage, I'm actually going to go try and edit some new stuff, because I do want to make a new video and hopefully make it good enough to keep that sort of YouTube algorithm retention. If I can do that, then it's actually a really good thing. Unfortunately, I doubt it. 620 views doesn't come around often, and I doubt any video I make will get as much attention. But if I can start trending towards having like a video doing like 30 to 40 views being well done to like 100 plus views being really good, then that's sort of a sign of channel growth. And I swear to God, have I not cut this bush down like 5 times already? Does it just grow back that fast? Huh. No bushes allowed. Anyway, that's it for me for my stream. I appreciate you watching if you did, and I don't do this often, but check me out on YouTube, Josh A333. Not affiliated, so you can't just put like twitch.tv/JoshA33 and come up with it. But anyway, thank you for watching. I